Hi, everybody. We thought it's a good idea to speak about participating in a team in the Plone community. I'm Astrid from South Africa, from a web development company called Juicy, and I have two people here with me.
Hello, I'm Rikupekka from University of Jyväskylä in Finland.
And I'm Brian from Pennsylvania, United States.
It's lovely that we all three can be here together today. We are from the Plone marketing team, and we are going to talk about joining teams in general or contributing to the Plone community in general. First of all, I think maybe our audience would like to know, how does this open source non-profit community of Plone, how does it work? Rikupekka, I think maybe if you want to take this question.
All right. Yeah, it works because people are like driven and into developing things, and I think it works because of the people that are doing the work like to work with the other people that are doing the work. So when I think about working for Plone marketing things, I like to do it. It's interesting work, but I like to do it because of whoever is on the marketing team at that time, like you guys. It's just like good time with friends at the best, and then you get to do something meaningful that helps many people around the world. So I think that's one motivation for working or doing work. Yeah.
But maybe if you can take it a step back and explain what does open source mean and non-profit. What is, maybe we can even include what is Plone. We know it as a content management system, but maybe you can explain what does this open source word mean and non-profit.
Good and hard question. So I always think it as, what's the saying, free as a beer, or like open source is anyone around the world can contribute to the code, and you can use it, you can share it, you can improve it as you want. And because it's backed by Plone Foundation, like a non-profit organization, nobody can buy it. It's owned by the community itself, the people around the world. So that's really neat thing. So you can trust that the software that you use stays open, and you can use it now and in 10 years time. So I think that's
fantastic.
one of the angles of open source and Plone itself.
That's fantastic. I think I heard someone say it's a MIT license, open source MIT license. Yes. And Brian, is there anything you'd like to add?
I think just following up on Rikupekka's point, it's the people that kind of make it happen. We always say that the Plone community is one of our biggest strengths, and getting to meet people who are interested in the same thing you are is quite good. And I think, one of the things that we often say is that there's nobody at the driver's seat. You can come into a community like this. You can help from the smallest little thing to becoming a leader in the community. So it really is a jump right in kind of situation where you can kind of learn and grow as a developer or as a person just by being involved in a community like this.
And you yourself, Brian, you're on the marketing team, but you're also a foundation board member. So there you have that additional role. How you say there's no one in the driver's seat? How does the board function then? Is it so the board is not the ones that dictate what happens?
Right. So the board itself is code agnostic. So we kind of stay out of development and stuff like that. But everybody kind of has their hands on the wheel a little bit. So
Mm.
people can drive in a certain direction and get certain things done, and then somebody else can take the ball and kind of run from there. So it's a very collaborative effort with people
Mm.
that I otherwise would never have met and never have gotten to know had I not gotten involved in
Yes.
Plone.
Yes. And I'm really liking this vehicle analogy that we've got going here with the steering wheel. And that brings me to one of the other teams that or environments that exist in the Plone community, the steering circle, um, which is different to the foundation board. Maybe you can explain briefly what that is.
Yeah, so the steering circle was kind of let me see, I can actually pull up the page here too. It was created a few after the Plone Foundation was created. Let me
Mm.
see here.
Yes, it was it hasn't been going for that long, I believe. Um, I can share that page just now as well.
Uh,
So we've gone quite wide now in describing how people are involved in the Plone community, and I thought it helpful just to explain that there are two environments where it's not specifically a team that you're joining. So the foundation board members are voted on, and the steering circle is made up of people who come from the different teams, the way I understand it.
Mm.
Okay, but let's bring it back to what it's like to participate in a team in the Plone community. Um, Maybe just also a little bit of history on who we are and how we got involved in the Plone community, a bit of our personal history with Plone. I've known about Plone almost since the start. We have a
Mm.
web development company in South Africa, and I've known about it more from the sidelines. Did a little bit of back end editing, and then got more progressively more and more involved until about 5 years ago, where I took over leadership of the development company that builds exclusively in Plone. And I'm learning at an exponential rate now. So yes, I think for a lot of people in the Plone community, your bread and butter is earned through Plone, and that's also a question that I think somebody else can answer on another day. How
Mm.
to make money out of Plone. That's more the business side of things. But for now, yes, Plone is something that helps us um, do our work, build environments for people online. And that is also one of the reasons why I am involved in the Plone community, because the strength of our company is dependent on the strength of the Plone community. Um, yes, that's my history with Plone.
Mm.
Rikupekka, would you like to share yours?
Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, I've known Plone for over 20 years now, and we used the university for over 20 years. And at first it was even soap, and then we started using Plone for doing different kind of stuff. And I think one interesting thing was that I've been using Plone for over 10 years in 2014, and that was kind of the first time I ever went to a Plone conference and actually met the people around the world. I knew some of their names and thought they were like these big rock stars, but when I got
And
there in
they were.
Bristol, everyone was really really friendly and welcoming, and since then I was like, oh right, okay, I want to be part of this, and been visiting the conferences and some sprints, and of course being more active online. So I think that finally meeting the people that you interacted with around the world online is like a really nice way to make yourself part of the community tighter, and it's been really fun since.
Yes, yes, I can attest to that. And Brian, your history with Plone.
Oh gosh. So yeah, I always like to say I started on version 0.98, which was like circa 2002 or so. So it's been over 20 years, but I kind of just started off. I found the software. I was fresh out of college, graduating college, and I was a writing major who wanted to. Become to self-publish in a way. I didn't want to be an ambulance chaser, so I started to learn how to do make my own websites and stuff like that. So I kind of started off pretty much by myself, just building clone sites. I later went on to join up with the Webline team out at Penn State, and so. I had the same experience as Rikupekka, where for a few years everybody was a rock star to me that had built this software, and then all of a sudden, when we started having symposiums and we had started having some of the Plone people come together, and I started to go to some of these meetups, I was like, okay, so not only are they here, but I get to program with them and work with them and attend a sprint where I can learn stuff. Uh, so yeah, it was super exciting. We organized I believe 5 symposiums out at Penn State, and one of the things that we had a really strong local user group, because a lot of the departments and colleges that we built websites for at Penn State would attend a user group and do their own presentations. So it I really had that community feel wrap me in and make me feel very much at home.
That seems to be a common thread that I've heard for many years. I myself also only attended my first conference last year, but I've always heard it said of the Plone community that it is just so welcoming, and we have a very good code of conduct. I think the quote on the page there is "Be excellent to each other," and it does seem like that is the case. I'm going to screen share now to our website. This is the page on plone.org. I see I'm logged in there, but that's not a problem. Then you can see what the login section looks like. This is our community page on plone.org, and this is a summary of everything the community does and how you can get involved. Let's have a look at this page. There's the group photo. I think this was from 2023, 2022,
Yeah.
2022. That's right. And here you can click on various links to see where you can get involved and where the communication channels for Plone are. Let's dig a little bit deeper, seeing as our topic today is specifically about teams and being on a team. I'm going to go into that page. And here's the information on this page. So here we have a list of all the different teams. Who would like to take us just briefly through these different teams with a little bit of a background? Maybe each of us can take a couple just to explain what it means when it says release team. For example, there's something called the AI team. And of course, these days, AI means artificial intelligence. But it took me a little while and I realized it's actually not AI, it's the admin and infrastructure team. Right. Rikupekka, would you like to start off and maybe speak about the first few teams?
Yeah, sure. So basically, you can contribute to Plone and be part of the community without being part of the team, but there's also this possibility to become part of the team and like be even more integrated to that. The release team, as the name says, it kind of handles the releases. So when people contribute and develop together, they kind of make the final checks that everything is in place, and then then take care that the latest release is properly released and it has all the proper documentation and tests and stuff like that. So that's a really important part of open source software production.
And I see there are our managers, the members there. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Oh, this one we know quite well.
Yeah, marketing team. It's kind of this. I think this is important because I was kind of not afraid but scared when I became part of Plone community because I thought that everybody has to be like a developer, a programmer, and I only then found out that there are a lot of teams and skills, like software skills that are useful and helpful for the community, and marketing is of course one example of that. So been part of the marketing team for a couple of years now, and I feel that I can contribute without programming, and that's kind of important for me. So that's good.
It's good to hear. Yes, that's the case with me as well. All right. Which is the next one? Would you like to take documentation team as well?
Sure. Another software skill and really important part of any software building process that we have good documentation, and I think the people there have done a really good job lately to bring the Plone 6 documentation up to modern level. So that's really important stuff also, and there are a lot of members that are probably in some other teams and otherwise contributing, but they are also there like guiding the documentation into the right direction.
Yes. Brian, would you like to take the next one, the Volto team?
Yeah, sure. I'll actually jump back to the steering circle real quick
Oh,
because
yes,
I
yes. Let's do
remember the word that tripped me up earlier. So the steering circle used to actually be called the framework team, and kind of the idea with this kind of group separate from the board was that since the board does stay code agnostic and does not get involved with the direct development of Plone, the steering circle kind of gave us a point for some kind of decision making within the community, as far as new features, different things that were planned in the roadmap. So that's kind of how the steering circle came to be. But yeah, switching over to the Volto team.
maybe I can just
Go
add
ahead.
to that. It makes the leadership quite horizontal in the Plone community, which is wonderful. Everyone is in the driver's seat. Right, Volto team.
Yeah, so Volto, if you're not aware, is one of the new front end implementations for Plone. We have the Volto and Classic UI. So Volto is based on a React-based front end. So there's a lot of JavaScript development that goes on in there, and they are kind of the Volto team has really been awesome in leading the way with some of the latest advancements that we've seen in Plone, keeping up with the latest tech stack and stuff like that. We did not have this front end before Plone 6, so this is kind of new, but if you're looking for a lot of the latest development that's going on, it is coming from the Volto team. So many thanks to them for kind of leading the way on that space. But that is not to say that the Classic UI team has fallen on its heels. The Classic UI has 20 years of development behind it, and a lot of the sites nowadays are still built using Classic UI. So the work that those guys have put in over the years has been quite impressive as well. And we also have other softwares in the Plone ecosystem. So The next team, the Zope team, Plone was originally a Zope application from its very first days. We still have, um, the Zope Foundation, the Zope community has become smaller over the years. We still have many of those people in the Plone community who uh, we continue to contribute to
Mm.
Plone and look at some of our code. So,
Great, great.
and Guillotina is also another software in the Plone ecosystem um, that people contribute to as well. To React implementation. I don't
Right.
know. Yeah.
Hmm. And then the AI team. Rikupekka, would you like to jump in there now?
I'll let Brian take this one.
Okay,
Still,
Brian
Oh,
can
yeah,
take it.
yeah.
Yes.
So meet the people who run the Plone servers and who
mm,
help facilitate a lot of the stuff that make the other teams happen. So many times as I'm going through and trying to build things for the Plone community, these are the first people that I talk to if I need a new instance set up or something like that. So the user management, the account management, the servers, the VM, the delivery of all of the Plone stuff you see from plone.org, from documentation, demo sites, conference sites. These guys really come through.
Mm. Crucial work that they do. Right. Okay. How many teams do we still have? We've got another 6.
yeah.
Okay. The
I'll take
security
this.
team.
Yeah, go. Oh, well,
Security.
can
I've always
yeah.
known. I've always known Plone. One of the big things about Plone is that it's so secure. So it will be interesting to hear a bit more about the security team of the Plone community itself.
Oh, yeah. As you said, it's like if you highlight three things about Plone, one is a really good user experience for the editors, and the other is like the ability to extend it and integrate it to anything. And then third one is always been the security. So it's really good that we have a security team that's always vigilant and high alert and really thinking about how to keep it secure and make it secure in the future.
Hmm. Very important.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that was security and installers team.
Yeah. One thing when you want to have a new clone site is that you somehow have to install it and get it running. And installers team is the one that's making work to make it as easy as possible to always install and run the latest versions of Plone. So yeah,
Yes,
another important
you
aspect.
And
can't start.
that's changed a lot over the years too, with how
Mm,
one it does install Plone.
yeah.
So from build out to pip, and what we have now is cookie Plone, which
Mm,
is a really nice templating installer for building Docker projects. You can build a Plone site through there. You can build a backend add-on, a front end add-on, a documentation add-on. Cookie Plone has been one of the big difference makers for Plone 6. I think the installer is very streamlined and very nice to use.
And here we have, maybe I can just jump in with the GitHub issue tracker. If you are using Plone and you're not part of any team, or even if you are, but anybody can report a bug here. So if there's something that you feel is not working right, you use this GitHub issue tracker here. So that's handy to know.
yeah, and that's actually an important part of contributing. So you don't necessarily even have to fix something, but if you report that something doesn't work and make it clear how it happens, that really helps to development also. So that's one way to be part of
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely. Yes. Right. So we're almost through our list. The community discussion team.
Yeah,
Rick-
so Plone has, we have this website forum for Plone discussion, technical discussion, other discussion, and then we have Discord channels. And this team kind of makes sure that everything runs there nicely and administers the discussions and stuff like that. So a really important part of any community is to keep the discussions going smoothly and nicely.
Absolutely. Yes.
We used to all collaborate around the IRC channels, but people have moved on from IRC, so now we have bigger and
Mm,
fancier tools. But
but
I
it's,
miss the IRC days; those were fun. Yeah.
I can hear that, Brian.
Everybody
I can
does.
hear that. We have to move with the times,
Mhm.
and that's also something that the Plone community needs energy for, so that it can continue to reinvent itself and move forward. Um, and you can't do that without the people. Right. Okay. Training team. Let's have a look at that. Who's going to tackle this one? What does the training team do?
Well, every Plone conference has Plone trainings, and
Ah,
there's a lot of training material about Plone. So this team kind of makes sure that the part of the documentation, the documentation is one thing, but having a good training material when you need it, that's also something that they do.
okay. That's the day one and day two of the, or the two pre-days before the conference
Yeah, yeah.
with
In
all
every
the,
Plone conference, there's the
yes,
training.
that's
Yeah.
right. So yeah, yes, what I think of as day one and day two.
Mm,
I see the list is very long, but it does list everybody who's ever done a training.
mm,
And these sessions are really extremely helpful. And I think here one must also think a little bit about how your unique knowledge can maybe be used in a training. Maybe there's something that you feel you can contribute there, and
mm.
if you don't contact them, you'll never know. Maybe this is something that you'd like to get involved in.
Yeah.
Right, training. uh, Those are the committees. Accessibility team. What does the accessibility team do?
Oh, Brian's mic is muted, it seems.
I had my church bells, so I muted the sound so you guys
Mhm.
wouldn't interrupt. But the accessibility team, this is actually getting a reboot here recently. So I don't know that this page is published, but we can take a
Oh,
look. So
I'm so
that's
sorry.
no. That's good because this encourages people to see what we have kind of in the works. So
Yes.
Plone has a very good accessibility record.
Mm,
Uh, we generally comply with a lot of the open source guidelines on that. The WCAG, I think we're at double A uh,
accreditation or
accreditation for
level.
level
Mm,
for accessibility, and but accessibility has also changed a lot in the years in
mm,
Plone. So now that we have a lot more JavaScript in Plone, we also
mm,
need someone to kind of go through some of the accessibility for that. So I know a lot of the work that we had done 20 years ago is still relevant, but there's always new needs for that. So there has been some renewed efforts to get an
mm,
accessibility team going within the last year. And if you would like
mm.
to become involved in that, I would encourage you to do so because it's a very important thing.
Very
I actually
important.
used to work with some visually impaired developers at Penn State, and it was kind of amazing for me to watch them go through a website with a screen reader and to
Mm,
see where they were able to navigate to the places they wanted and where they got stuck. And you can do all of the automated accessibility testing you want, but until you actually see a person go through that and realize their victories and struggles, um, accessibility kind of takes on a whole new meaning
Ab-
for me. It
Absolutely.
did. I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a work in progress at this stage. Um, right, the internationalization team.
Uh, yeah, this is also another important aspect. Uh, as a university, a public sector in Finland, that where we have multiple languages, we often have to have the sites in many languages. So, as a user, it's good to have a good like translation features in Plone. But internationalization team makes sure that we still have like 40 different languages that Plone can run on. So
Sorry,
it's
how many?
like 40 or something.
Wow.
So
Okay.
so Plone has always been translated to many languages thanks to active leadership on this section.
Mm,
So
that's fantastic. Yes. And if any of you watching have got a special training in something like this, that would be great, or a specific language that needs some assistance, please get
mm,
involved. You can see the
yeah,
long list there of people from different nationalities, different languages.
mm.
Um,
And this is also something that you don't have to be a developer, that you can just, if you
no.
speak the language, and you can
Mm,
contribute there.
mm. Maybe you're one of the content editors of the website that you run for
Mm,
your institution, and you'd like to assist with this. Maybe it's something that you're already involved with in multilingual websites or multilingual sections of your own website. Okay, let's have a look. Right. Then we have some committees. Um, we haven't specifically said that we would be speaking about these committees, but maybe we quickly just want to mention them. Membership committee. What is membership committee? That is a to deal with the applications for Plone Foundation membership. Um, I guess that falls under the board. Am I right,
mm.
Brian?
Your
Your
mic is
mic
muted.
is muted, Brian.
Church bells ringing.
Yes, I'll
Yep.
remember now. I'll remember. So the membership committee is actually a standalone committee that handles the membership um, applications and votes on the new candidates and stuff every year. So so the membership committee is just like a team, but it's kind of centered around an annual event, the membership renewal and stuff like that.
Okay, great. And in a different web or recording, we can talk about membership of
Mhm.
that. Then the conference committee, I think Rikupekka knows all about this now, seeing as you're busy organizing the next conference.
Yes, the
Um,
next Plone conference is in
mm,
October 13th this
mm,
year, and welcome to Jyväskylä, Finland. And the conference committee helps the conference organizers to actually organize the conference. And as a conference organizer, I'm really like thankful for all the help I get from the community members that are in this committee.
fantastic. Yes, we look forward to it. Right. Okay. Then the sponsorship committee. This is
It's
going
hidden.
to it's hidden.
You,
Yes, I
yes.
see.
Yeah.
Um, we'll talk about sponsorship a little bit later. With any open source community, a non-profit organization that has no income, there's certain things, certain costs that do need to be covered, servers and so on. And
Mm.
the sponsorship committee helps organize the sponsorship to keep it running. Right, and then this is just a summary of when most of the teams meet. Here's some of us there, and we can you can have a look there which meeting time might suit you, It's usually organized at a time that suits most of the team members. It's not always easy to find a time slot, but we try. All right. Some of the teams, I'm just looking at some of our notes that we made. Some of the teams are more active and some are less active. Maybe we can also talk about what channels we use for communication. Brian, we've touched on it briefly. We use Discord. We also, I think in the marketing team, we have a Slack channel that's just for the marketing team.
Yeah, and another application that we use too is Quave. So Quave is built on Plone, and so this is kind of somewhat of the eat your own dog food metaphor that we actually do use the products that we help develop. So so Quave is very good for document sharing, team communication, stuff like that. So it gives you your own kind of private social network for that team.
Yes, I remember we used it end of last year for the brochure that we designed for the Plone conference in Brasilia, and that was very helpful with different versions, and one could follow that very easily. Right. Okay. I wonder, should I maybe stop sharing now, and we can just talk a little bit about reasons why we should join the team. But I think let's take a step back. Rikupekka, you've already touched on it. You've said you don't need to be a top developer to join a team and contribute. In some teams, your other skills are just as or even more useful. And I think you mentioned that one of the advantages is that you feel like you're contributing to something that's bigger than yourself. The involvement in the Plone community is so essential for building networks. If we all work in silos, especially with something like this open source software that we use, we might risk all working on the same thing and recreating stuff and making work for ourselves, where somebody might have thought of this already and created it as an add-on. So rather go check with the community first before you put a bunch of work in to create something. And if you are in any case connected through one of the teams where you're involved or somewhere where you are regularly on the communication channels, you will be so much closer to the community and will be so much easier for you to know this. So it can only be to your advantage. You can also find mentors and advisors in various forms. It can be official or unofficial, that just somebody that you have a good rapport with, that you feel you can ask questions if you get stuck. Or you could even get involved through the Google Summer of Code. There's more information on the website. Yeah, and then just to know that you're never too old or too young to learn. I'm trying to think who the oldest Plonista is at the moment. Who would that be? We're all young at heart. We know. We're all young at. Okay, maybe who's the youngest? Who's the youngest? We had some teenagers at Brasilia, at the conference in Brasilia. Didn't we have some 16-year-olds or even younger?
Yeah, and
So,
I know some people that have kids in school that they are already learning programming and skills like this, so they know the name.
Yes. Well, we're trying to cover all the bases and communicate through all the channels, and recently started looking at being a bit more active on Twitch as well, to also be in the spaces where the younger members are. Yes, the Plone community creates ample opportunities for sharing knowledge, and we invite you to be part of it. And the rewards
One
in the Hmm?
one thing I'd like to say too is the Plone teams change over time too, because people
Mm.
come in and out of career life changes and stuff like that too. So while we have a lot of the people that have been in the community for 20 years, some people come in for a few years, leave,
Mm.
and then come back.
Mm,
So you're
mm,
always meeting new people and stuff like that too. And the other thing I'd say
mm.
is if you find a topic that you don't think there is a team for, start a team, right? How did
Yes,
these teams become to how did these teams come into being in the first place? Somebody had to come up with that
exactly,
idea. So
exactly.
a lot of the ideas can fall under certain teams, but if you have an idea to start a new team, please get involved
Mm.
and do so.
Reach out, put your hand on that steering wheel together with the
Absolutely.
rest of us. Mm. Yes. All I still wanted to say is that the rewards and the benefits, volunteering the time and the energy far outweigh the effort. Um, One has to balance your time, of course,
Mm.
but it's it does. One does have to remember that it is going to be. If you do put up your hand, be ready to put in the time as far as your capacity allows.
We always
But
like the term doocracy. Those who do
Mm.
generally end up being involved in decision making a lot of times because they are the ones who are getting their hands dirty on it on a
yes,
regular
Mm.
basis.
that's very much the
Yeah.
case. Yeah, very much the
Yeah.
case. Okay, so now how do you join a team? Say, for example, oh, there we
Just
go.
raise your hand and say you'd like to join a team. Get
Okay,
in
all right.
contact with some one of us.
Yes, and through the pages, let me have a look. That was that one page
Uh,
where the contribute page. I think that was
Yes.
the contribute page.
So you can join discussions. You can join our Discord server. You can attend a Plone event, sprints, or the conferences that we have. Get to know people, tell them what you're interested in, and but there will be a place for you. I assure you.
mm.
Um, if you're looking to code, one of the first things that we typically have people do is sign the Plone Contributors Agreement, um, which basically reinforces our open source mantra that if you are contributing to Plone, it becomes part of that open source space.
Yes.
So, and another thing would be to apply to become a member of the Plone Foundation. The membership in the Plone Foundation is awarded for contributions to the community, but um, uh, don't ever think that any contribution is too small to become
Mm.
a member.
Yeah.
There
Mm,
are a lot of people who help out with things in limited capacity, but become invaluable to the community for some of the things they do add.
mm,
So, if
mm,
you think that you'd like to be a part of it, but please apply. And
mm,
another good way to get involved that we touched on briefly was with the sponsorships. Um, like we said, all the work that we do here is volunteer. We've been doing this for quite a few many years, and we've been able to survive based on the kindness and contributions of those sponsors. So we thank you for that.
mm, mm. Here's the page on the sponsorship, but you can use the general channels for that too.
Mm.
All right. One last thought, Rikupekka, you were saying earlier that we can take a step back also from the commitment to be part of a team and um, realize that you don't need to join a team to contribute to the Plone community. We've shared that contribution page now,
Mm.
and Brian summarized that nicely for us. So If you join a team, if you'd like, join the foundation as apply to be a foundation member, or contribute in one of the other many ways that's listed there. Right. Is there anything
Right.
either of you would like to add?
Thanks for chatting.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah, this is part of being in a team, I guess. So organizing this kind of discussion, and I've enjoyed it. So thanks
Yes.
for that.
Yes, for sure. I
All,
have as
all I
well.
would like to say is for those who watching, please come to our teams. We are waiting here to embrace you and have you embrace us. So
Yes. We look forward to having you closer to the community soon. Thank
absolutely.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.